Hi, everybody. Jill Ferris here, emotional resiliency coach. I wanted to pop on today and do a quick video about fear and how that plays out physiologically in our body, and then what it feels like on an emotional side. So, fear is a very primal part of our human existence. It is wired into our body, it's part of our autonomic nervous system. You might have heard it referred to as the fight or flight response. It's something that we've had a part of our bodies ever since we have basically inhabited this earth. And it is there to basically keep us alive. And that's what it's done, right? When we're afraid of something, we get away from it, which is basically all our species needed to do. We stayed away from the thing that we were afraid of, and hopefully it kept us alive. And that served its purpose, when we lived in caves and when our life, was a lot different, we lived a very primal life. But transfer that to today where, we don't live in caves anymore. We don't have to hunt or, do those things that were a lot more dangerous to us. But instead, fear has taken on many different forms in our life. And that can be so many things. It can be, the fear of going out in public. It can be the fear of taking tests. It can be the fear of going for a job interview, the fear of, being maybe speaking up to your boss or speaking up to a coworker. It can be fear related to a trauma or an incident, right? There are so many different ways that fear can come into our life. And, your nervous system it just sees it as fear, right? It doesn't put it into context. It just feels afraid and uncomfortable. And so the natural response of that is feelings of discomfort, right? Be it chest pain, be it palpitations, be it, constant sort of obsessive, intrusive thoughts. All of that stuff that feels physically uncomfortable in our body is enough for us to keep us away from the thing that we're afraid of. So yes, it serves its purpose in, we're alive, we're still here, but those things aren't a threat to our survival, but our brain doesn't know that. And so it is because we are stuck in that, fear-stricken, sometimes fight or flight, that we don't pursue, or we don't, let's say, attack, but we don't go after, change, because it just feels so physically uncomfortable in our body. We can't even fathom, trying to deal with or tackle it. The body is getting a physical sensation. No, I can't do this. Too scary. Keep doing what you're doing or go the other way. Right? And that's exhausting. It's exhausting to live with that day in and day out, or, situational dependent. If you find yourself having to, or constantly avoiding the thing that provokes that fear, it can make you live a really sort of sheltered life. And, that's not living to your fullest potential. It's not living, I'm sure, how you want to live. It wasn't certainly how I wanted to live. So that is how, and that is one of the biggest benefits that tapping gave to me, was the ability to sit in that fear, to feel it, but it didn't last. Because tapping is a technique that we use to directly talk to the nervous system. We tap along the meridian points as we ask or invite this fear to come up. But the thing that sets tapping apart from any other, modality to deal with fear is that you don't stay in it. You're physically doing something to help move the energy, to move the fear and move the anxiety. And you're sending a calming signal to the body as you release that fear. And the beautiful thing that happens is when you release those feelings, those anxieties, those fears, the body physically feels calm, but also it allows your brain to sort of drop out of the downstairs brain, that very primal brainstem fight or flight piece, and it allows you to have access to these two parts of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, where we make rational cognitive thoughts, right? Where we can actually sit with something and be able to look at it. You know, why do I do this? Where did I learn that? And to be able to start to make change. But when you are stuck in that fight or flight, that constant state of anxiety and fear, your body doesn't have the ability to have that rational thought, because it's just, I can't go there. If I go there, I'm going to die. That is what the prefixed wired part of our brain thinks, even though it's not really true in this day and age. But your brain doesn't know the difference. It can't perceive context. It just knows, I'm afraid of this. I don't like it. Just keep kind of doing what you're doing. It's working, or get away. That's all it knows how to do. So the beauty of the tapping, again, we can acknowledge that fear. We can do some things to tap through it, to calm the nervous system, to feel calm in the body. And then when the body feels calm, then we can have a look and talk about why. And when you can understand the why, that's where change comes about. So if you want to know more about tapping and how it can help you in your particular situation, send me a message and let's chat.